How's it going, everyone? Mad Spartan here, and today I'm bringing you war number 4 of Season 54. A very jam-packed war for me, and then a little unfortunate part of it, but we'll get into that in a little bit. We are up against NEFTI, which is a big alliance. Definitely was aiming for the win against these guys, because this is like one of the few alliances I actually know in the game. So they do have me going path 3. We are still running the same team, Gladiator Silk, but we are running Mag, who will be used for the Weapon X mini in a couple of fights. So definitely look forward to that. As I said before, it is a very jam-packed war. I did have a decent amount of fights, and I also had to take boss, which is very cool to have. So first up, we do have Venom here, and as you guys know, in case you don't know actually what the note is, when they have an armor, you get power burn, power drained, and special locked. And the problem that that happens when you use Gladiator is you don't take any damage from the armor burn, from like the power drain and the power burn, but you do get special lock. So he's not immune to special lock, so if we ever want to use a special, we have to wait for the special lock to go around, and then we'll be good. Now the thing with Venom, which is pretty interesting, is even though he's intimidated, he is so aggressive, it doesn't even like change how he plays. If anything, it might even just make him like a regular champ, you know, with like a regular amount of aggressiveness, because even when he's intimidated, he is like trying to hit me so much. So I realize I'm playing a little bit more passive here. Just kind of I want him to just burn to death. We have the Relic on hand. I'm rushing in here. He does dash back, but the Relic does clip him with the unblockable. And just like that, Venom's down. Very easy fight. Now next up, we did have to fight Moleman, and I had to fight him with Gladiator here, which did suck. But I was like dueling him a little bit to figure out like how he worked, and I realized that as long as I start the fight with baiting a heavy, 4-hit combo into the heavy, I can still build up my confidence as long as he doesn't throw an SP1, or, you know, as long as I don't like parry him by accident. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that the entire time, but I wanted to get to like at least the 10 mark, you know, 15 if possible. Probably not going to get to 20. I didn't see myself getting to 20 against him, so I was just kind of aiming somewhat low. He does go for the attack again. Him and Venom, both of them. It was ridiculous. So we are at the 11 mark. I did dash back and I was about to hold block, but he did immediately throw that SP1, which is not a big deal. Now the only way we can gain confidence now is actually hitting him with our heavy. The heavy gives you 2 confidence per hit, so it's going to be a long time until we get to that 20 mark, so we're not really aiming for that anymore. There's no real reason to go for any other special. Didn't want to go for the SP3, it's a little too long, so I was just kind of benefiting from like the big damage that his SP2 does. Just in general, I know he's going to shrug off the incinerates. Now, the problem that we're having is I can't really play him like how I'd want to, where you throw the special into the unblockable, because if he has max stand your ground on defense, he's going to be able to block it and block the entire special. So I didn't want to deal with that, or maybe it was just maybe basic attacks, but I wasn't sure exactly how that interaction went, so I didn't want to chance it. So if anyone knows for sure, that'd be cool, but probably never going to play him again, so it doesn't really matter. So this war, as I said before, was a lot. It was a lot of prep. I had to figure out like who to use. The mag fight was a little stressful for me, and yeah, you guys are going to see it was not fun. This was definitely not a fun war for me. We are about to hit that 20 mark, so we're going to, you know, maybe call in the Relic here, then throw a heavy to get the 20. No, I can't really throw the SP2 into this, so I'm just going to, now we start getting the burst damage, so he's going to go down relatively quickly. 32k burst into the SP2. He should be down with this, and just like that, he's down. 30k damage just from a crit from the Relic that's helping us, and yeah, it's all good. Until we hit this fight. Now, for those of you that don't know, Red Skull, it's definitely tough on this node if you don't play it right. Now, unfortunately, I did not play this fight correctly. I didn't run power backs because I didn't think I would. I didn't think you were supposed to, but that's just my mistake. Now, the real part with this fight is you have to start with a power 1, because the most important thing is getting to the SP2, so that you're able to keep the vigilance on the whole game to stop him from gaining armors. If he gains armors, you start to glance, and then he starts to bleed you, and then when he glances, you stop putting debuffs, so you just bleed to death. So the first thing I do, which is a mistake, is I immediately combo into heavy. He dashes back, so I'm building up my confidence. I shouldn't have done that, though. I should have just gone to the SP2. I realize now, like, I should not have done that. We couldn't even get to the SP. So now when I gain this SP2, he is going to gain 1 armor, which the fight is not like you didn't lose yet doing that. So we'll see what happens. So I kind of wait out the auto block here, immediately throw the SP2. He does have 1 armor, not a big deal. It's still winnable, but because I'm not running power backs, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get to the next SP2. So we kind of have to go ham here. I'm baiting out the SP1s when I shouldn't have baited out the SP1s. And now I'm realizing in my head, I'm not even going to get to the SP2 if I want to. So I'm like, you know what? We're just going to try to end it. We're trying to end it quickly before anything goes bad. So I do end up hitting him with an SP1 here. And we're unblockable, but we don't have the 20 mark, so we're not going to be able to do like the big burst damage. And in my head, like, the fight isn't lost yet. I think I'm okay here. Throw the relic in. I'm trying to like end it as fast as possible, but as you can see, the bleeds are just stacking like crazy, and just like that, we go down. Very frustrating. I know what I did wrong. I was too passive in the beginning. I think if he was there again, the most important thing we have to do is, I can't build up his confidence in the beginning. I have to just go parry 5-hit combo, parry 5-hit, or parry 5-hit combo, then a parry 4-hit combo into heavy, get to the SP2, and then throw it, and then we'll be good for the rest of the fight. I panicked, kind of. I threw the SP1 trying to end the fight as fast as possible, and it ended up costing me. So, unfortunately, that is the first death of the season, and it is definitely very upsetting. But you can't let it affect you too much. Like I said, I think the most important thing is I know exactly what went wrong with that fight. And, yeah, so it probably, I mean, I'm not going to say probably. It won't happen again. The most important thing, start with a bar, power start, power backs with him, and that fight should be unlocked, because even with me playing as bad as I did, he was on 36% health, which means if I would have thrown that SP2 in the beginning, instead of just panicking in the end, he probably would have died anyway if I got that next SP2, even with it going totally bad after that. So, unfortunately, I did die, but we know exactly what we did wrong, so it'll never happen again, which is, I think, the most important thing about having a death. You have to make sure you know exactly what you did wrong so that it doesn't happen again. So, after that, we do have Sauron here. Not really any note for him. He doesn't gain any armor, so it's not actually a note he benefits from. So, easy silk fight. I'm a little shaken up from that death. I was pissed, but I have so much left of war that I can't even really think about it. So, combo into the SP2 here. We're looking pretty good. In my head, I'm just thinking about the next fights that I have to do. We have to fight a Weapon X, and then we have to fight Warlock boss, which is one that I wasn't too happy about, but to be honest with you, he's not really a hard boss. He's not really a hard champ in general, especially if you have Odins, because then there's no infected, which we'll get into in a little bit. So next up, we do have Wolverine, Weapon X on Hazard. I believe it's Shock Incinerate, and then for every debuff you have, it's reduced ability accuracy by 30%. So pretty much if you gain 1, there's a 30% chance that your parry won't come out. So I'm trying to just get him to the other side of the screen, let him throw his special so he gains Berserker, and then just play from there. So now that he's magnetized, we're just going to parry heavy here. The most important thing is to get him on his side of the corner so that when he throws his special to go Berserker, by the time you get to your corner, he won't be in Berserker anymore, which is the most important thing. He's not awake, so it's a 20-second cooldown on Berserker, so pretty much, especially in like a decent mag fight, he should only get Berserker 1 time. So now he's going to throw the SP2 here, and I screwed up. I didn't give him enough Berserker, so now he has 16, and he's not in Berserker yet. So now in my head, I'm like, Jesus, man, I already screwed up the last fight. I just need to get him down. So I convert to get 37 prowesses, and I just plan to throw this SP3 and kill him. I'm praying that it kills, because I'm like, I'm not playing correctly. Like, he was supposed to get Berserker, now he's not, so I'm just going to let Shrapnel Bleed do its thing. He throws the SP1, but good thing he doesn't gain any regen from it, from the activation of it. And then just like that, Shrapnel Bleed kills him. So even with it not playing exactly how I planned, we still did pretty well. So now, next up is Warlock boss, which is a fight that I kind of wasn't looking forward to too much. It was the one fight of my list that I was actually like nervous about. It was not the Red Skull, believe it or not. It was like the Moleman and the Warlock, which is what I was most nervous about. So now, the most important thing with the Warlock boss is to have 3 Odins, because each buff that you have, unique buff, reduces the duration of infection by 6 seconds. Infection usually takes 20 seconds, so if you have 3 Odins on a champ that can't gain any more buffs, infection only lasts 2 seconds. It's really good. But Gladiator has, at the very least, confidence buffs, which is the fourth unique buff that we need to reduce infection to the point where it doesn't even come out anymore. So I needed 3 Odins, and then I had the confidence buffs. Now, unfortunately, I had to wait the next day for someone to place the Odins on the boss, and I know you guys don't really play with me, so you don't really know, but I need to take my fights within the first, like, 3 or 4 hours of war, because in my head, I feel like I'll die if I don't. And, of course, this war, I took my fights, like, a day and a half after war started, and I died. Not saying those two things are correlated, but I've taken fights, like, a couple hours after war has started, and I've been fine, so I don't know. But it is very frustrating. So the most important thing is Warlock is stun immune, so we're going to have to constantly combo our heavy into his heavy. So as you can see, we did land a pretty juicy one. So now we have 10. We're already at the 10 mark. I was able to get that last 4. I got pretty lucky there. He immediately throws another heavy. We're able to go right in, and now we're at the 20 mark. So I'm already well into my... And then we have the 8 from the Awakening, so we're going to be able to get 33 confidence buffs, which each one increasing attack by 5%, and then armor by 5. And then also, if you're fighting the final boss of a quest or anything like that, it actually gains it by 1%. So actually each confidence is giving me 6% attack and 6% armor, because it is 1% flat increased. So when it means by flat, it's not 1% of 5%, it's just 1% in general. So we're actually gaining 6% attack and armor from each confidence buff. So we're throwing the SP2. We are killing it right now. I'm in full control of the fight. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe I was nervous about this fight. Now, the only thing that could go wrong is I'm not able to get the slow off in time, and then he goes unstoppable. It's not horrible if that happens. Obviously, as you guys have seen from my other fights, we just kind of wait for it to go around. But the most important thing is to gain the slow. So we do throw the SP1 here to make sure we continue to have the slow. I did throw it so I can bait out his SP2, but unfortunately he does not throw it while I'm unstoppable. I was totally ready to tank the entire SP2 and just go in, but he did not throw it. It's almost as if he knew what I was planning. So 41k burst, because we have the increased attack from fighting a final boss, the 8 extra confidence buffs, and then you gain a 10% Fury every time you knock the boss down. I don't think it was a great boss tile for him, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna get him down either way. So we are gonna throw the relic here to try to gain the slow, but the problem is I have to put my withers through blocks so that I'm able to put the slow on, and then just like that, he does resist parry me. And I'm a creature of habit. I do end up throwing it right away, hoping that he doesn't do that again. And just like that, he pretty much just melts. It did take a decent amount of time to beat him, but just like that, we did get him down. So yeah, it is a war that I'm overall happy about for a multitude of things. I know that it was a couple fights that I was nervous about that I ended up killing. That Red Skull, I did die to it. Yes, I know. I apologize. But I did learn something very important. Arguably, I learned something, and then my alliance members kind of gave me some advice on what I should be doing and how I should be running it. He is SIG 140, so he is high enough to take that fight because the vigilance does last long enough. But yeah, I appreciate all the advice that my alliance members gave me, and just overall, just for me learning, like analyzing the fight, and also doing this helps me kind of analyze it too. But yeah, we all learned something. That death will not happen again because I know exactly how to go about it this time. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. My comment section is always open. I'm really appreciating everyone that's watching the Gladiator guide. As is a normal problem with all of my videos, over 90% of the people that watch that video are not subscribed. So I would really appreciate if you guys would subscribe. Don't forget to, please. It helps me out a ton, more than you guys could possibly ever know. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.